And we said, you're talking about we're leaving home, you know. And by the time we got to the place, she found 13 people to come with her. That's the sanguine. They'll influence you. They are the life of the party. You want to be around them. They are live wire. Good example, Peter and Deborah. For them, they have some strengths. They are very outgoing. They are very talkative. They are very charismatic. They are the center of attention. And because they are the center of attention and they are so talkative, people want to be around them. You wonder, everybody wants to hear what they must say. But they have some weaknesses. They are egotistic. Many times they are driven by their own achievement. They are very impulsive because they are such a live wire. They rarely sit down and plan many things. But when they do it, it always come out. Are you there? They are restless. For them, they are going. They don't plan nothing. And I sometimes sit down and watch their own achievement. My own sister-in-law and my wife planning something. And my wife is getting so upset. I can't get her to sit down and work this out. Because my wife is on the opposite side of the pendulum. And sometimes I say, love, just go ahead and do what you want to do. Because guess what? As night follow day, her sister is going to come through. They are sometimes unstable. Then the second one is a choleric, an extrovert, but this person is task-oriented. They can do things. And because they can do, they will sometimes appear to be very caustic, very forthright. People say them facey, but they are doers. For them, the choleric person, she is going to get it done. Good example is Paul and Martha. Watch this. Their strength. They are very practical because they are doers. They are very decisive. They have no time to vacillate and to wonder if. They knew that everything will not always fall in place. And so they'll take the decision based on what they have, what they know, and work with it. They are very efficient. And because they are very efficient, they are sometimes very impatient with people. They are born leaders. They know how to get things done. And for them, if you can't get it done right the first time around, they are upset. But they have some weaknesses. They are very, 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 very impatient with others. And they seem to hate lazy people. You know somebody like that? They're very impatient, but they are very strong-willed. What them say, that they want. So sometimes when they work in position of authority, their subordinates have challenge with them because it's what I say or nothing. They are very insensitive because they are doers. They'll get it done. When you see him not to be getting done, them no mind tell you they are foolish. Because if you don't do it, they'll do it. So they are very demanding. Have mercy. You know anybody like that? Paul and Martha. You remember Martha was serving at the dead yard for Lazarus? And Jesus came by and Mary was paying attention to spending time with Jesus. And Martha got to Jesus and said, you know, see the people them. I am taken up by serving them, and Mary just slung at your foot. Tell her to get up and come help me. And I want you to know these persons are good leaders in the church. Hello? But they must temper. They must seek to strike a balance. Because of their strength, because of their ability to do things, they hurt people lots of time. Come with me. There is the phlegmatic. Phlegmatic. This is an introvert, but is also a people-oriented person. They don't talk a lot. They think through, but they love people. This is what we call a pacifier, a peacemaker. Phlegmatic persons, they give up their right just for peace sake. Strengths, they are very easygoing. This is not the person who is going to get frustrated over the program not going right and send up them blood pressure. This is not the person who things not happening as we plan it and they're having a heart attack over it. The place is burning down and say, guess what? You must stop burning now. You get what I'm saying? Very easygoing. They are very agreeable. So, because I don't want the fuss, I don't want the conflict, I just back off. And so I wanted to know, I just want peace. However, they are very, very supportive. Because they are such a introverted person, they are deep. We don't need all of that, man. We don't need all of that. We could just work it out simple. They have some weaknesses. They tend to prefer to keep the status consistent. They're not going to ruffle any feather. So they know you're doing something the wrong way, you're not doing what you should be doing. They are not the one coming to say to you, you are wrong. And even when they are pushed to say, this is not what is to be done, they'll say, you know, there's another way you can do this thing. You're not wrong. They are very sensitive. You say something to somebody, and a lot of time, they end up in meeting and people are being rubbed the wrong way, them first start crying. They are indecisive. So I will wait until you all take the vote. Any side that get most, at that side me depend. I'm not going to vote, but I'll support any side that get most vote. Because I do not want to disturb anybody. They are great procrastinator because they are waiting for others to do something before they take a position. So they are never good leaders. Because they're not going to step out. They wait for somebody, hide behind somebody. Good examples, Abraham and Ruth. They will not step out. If you go the book of Ruth through, you realize that Naomi did most of the work, even up to Ruth marrying Boaz. Naomi had to instruct her to do this and do that. She's not going to do it herself. These persons are good when you are in major conflict and need to be making resolution. Then the final one, the melancholy. This person is an introvert, but is task-oriented. They pay attention to the business at hand more than the people who do it. They are great thinkers. They appear many times to be beyond their time. Their strengths. They are very, very analytical. They look through things and they see the blind side. They see what other people don't see. They will think outside of the box. They are very orderly. Pastor, if you ever come home and take off the jacket and throw it over the settee angle, when there's hangers in the room. I remember talking to a friend of mine, a pastor, and he says, when I get into the house, I am so happy to get out of this jacket. I just take it off and throw it over the settee angle. And my wife is saying, this can't happen in the house. One day he was so embarrassed because he had somebody home with him that he looked at her and said, the jacket box you? So these melancholy persons are very orderly. Everything must have a place and everything must be in its place. And don't pull up the place. A lot of wives are like that. They are diligent and very detailed. They have deep, deep emotion. And they are rubbed the wrong way easily. They cry for anything. They empathize very easily. And they see what they are doing as very important. So guess what? They want to know that when they do something, you recognize them. Because they are focusing on the task at hand. They are very creative, but they have some weaknesses. They are oversensitive. They see something and they read a lot of things that even the person who is doing don't even think of. They are shy and moody. They have guilt feeling. And for them, if I see you outside talking, two of you, and when I come by, you just talk. I'm here to talk about. When in your mind, that is so far from the truth. But guess what? Each of us, Moses and Mary, are represented as good example. Each of us have more than one temperamental disposition. One is dominant and the other is sub. So, it's very likely that I have what you call a primary temperament and a secondary temperament. It's never usual that you have a total sanguine, a total choleric, you are split between. And sometimes some people go off in some area You are choleric, and along with that, you are phlegmatic, and something is being done, and you just pick on the choleric temperament. And you become the boss for everybody. And when that is over, you recline. So, whichever you are, you need to understand, as persons married, you must realize that this is something that you must know. If you are completely similar, your home and your family will be bored. Because when one get quiet, the other get quiet and nobody now talk. If you are completely different, constant conflict. Nobody now back down. So, you should couple with more similarity and less difference, will find the opportunity that they can facilitate compromise. They can be compatible. If you are already married, and you find, as we did the check, that you have some challenges, you are different, and it is a cause of creating conflict, learn to give preference to your partner. Put the interest of the partner above yours. Look out for your partner's need above yours, and make sure to give way. Allow your spouse strength to complement your weakness. What it is an understanding that you are working together for the betterment of your family. Romans chapter 12 and verse 10 says, be what? Read with me. Be kindly affectionate one to the other, with brotherly love, in honor giving. And that's one of the things that family must do together. Give preference to one another. Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 3 and 4. Nor shall you make what? You should not give your, nor. So back up a little bit. You should understand that the matter of unevenly yoke is important for the stability of your family. Let me say that another way. There are many persons in the church who believe that no good person in a church for them to marry to. And they decide that they will go outside and get married to somebody of a different faith or somebody of no faith. And tomorrow night when I talk about living with non-Seventh-day Adventist spouse, you'll see what I'm talking about. And that is trouble to the highest level. Parents should be clear. Don't give over your daughter to a man who is from Egypt. Don't take a wife of an Egyptian family for your son. They should have similar values for things to work together. 2 Corinthians 6:14 endorse it. It says, do not what? With unbelievers. Because the unbelievers will pull you away from God. Spiritually speaking, there are only two families you can be a part of. Either you are part of the family of Satan, or you are part of the family of, and if you are part of the wrong family, when both belong to the family of Satan, big trouble. And you need to be clear, once you are part of the family of Satan, constant conflict. When one is apart and the other is a part of the family of God, conflict. You see the same thing and they look different. You remember this man, Samson? He loved many women until finally he ended up with one called Delilah, who probe and discover his secret. God had ordained him for a specific purpose. Note something. Each of you has been ordained by God for a special purpose. He gave up his secret. Delilah organized to destroy him. They destroyed his strength. They used him and abused him. His life was ruined. But thank God, when both belong to the family of God, there are joy and happiness. Samson's life was ruined because of the woman he chose. Many families are being ruined tonight because of wrong choice. And I want you to know that is not God's plan for your life. But because you take things into your own hand, and I'm sorry if there's somebody here who have walked in that path, there's still hope. When two belong to the same family, family of God, there's joy and happiness. Before marriage, you must be clear, spiritual unity is important. Check out the family you are going into. And if they are not spiritually inclined, look before you leap. After marriage, spiritual unity is crucial. Because when you're married to a woman who decides that on a Saturday she wants to go sit down at the street corner, down at the bar and have a drink, and you are come at church, how it go? Or you're married to a man who will tell you that there's one thing I must do every Sabbath. You can go on a church. Me have to go to Cayman and Spark. Trouble. So you must be clear that spiritual unity is crucial. It is a bond that keeps the family together. The question is, am I a part of the family of God? Is my partner a part of the family? A part of the family of God. That's important for many of us. Maybe we are nowhere tonight. Maybe we are not so sure. Let's answer this big question. Remember the story of Jacob? He was a deceiver. He had deceived his father. Got the birthright not belonging to him. Robbed his brother, in other words, with his mother's help. Hello? With his mother's help. And his mother said something that follows the generation down the age. When he said to his mother, remember, I have some different skin texture. I am shorter than my brother. I don't carry the kind of body odor my brother carry. Peradventure, my father, although blind, may find out, and what I am claiming to be a blessing may become a curse. His mother says, this curse be upon me, my son. At Calvary, the people make the same claim. Hello? Crucify him. Give us Barabbas. Let the curse be on us. and have mercy. We live in trouble. But I want you to know, Jacob was a thief, stole from his brother, a liar, lied to his blind father, had to run away. The mother he loved never saw her again in this life. When he got to come back, she was already gone. He became lonely, disappointed, discouraged. He laid down one night to sleep. And there must be a time in a man's life when he gets to the point where he's alone with God. The good news is, God did not forsake Jacob. He has not forsaken you, irrespective of what you have done. He says, I still love you. Next morning, Jacob continued on his way to Iran. He spent 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years looking for a wife. Hello, somebody. He had deceived his brother, run away, went to his uncle Laban, serve him as a slave, want now to be an independent man. And he was deceived. Listen to me. Every time you think you pull a fast one on somebody, there is a bigger deceiver waiting on you. He got married, got a family, got wealthy. But one day he heard his brother is coming with trained, experienced soldiers. But he experienced no change spiritually. That message drove fear in his heart. He got that bad news. Esau is on his way. 400 armed soldiers ready to take revenge. Terrified, Jacob made the most important decision in his life. Before I meet Esau, I must see Jesus. You didn't hear me. Before I meet Esau, I must make it right with God. And let me tell you something. Every time you get to the point where you cry out, Lord, have mercy, he let his hand down and take care of you. Tonight, you need to take that decision. That decision should be yours tonight. Tonight, you need to be a part of the family of God. You need to make it clear, irrespective of your temperament, God loves you. He wants to forgive you. He wants to take care of you. So Jacob was left alone. He had sent on his family. Sent some gift before. Still trying to deceive you. Wives, if you meet Esau, give him these gifts. Tell him, I want peace. And I'm now a rich man. I can pay him back. As he was concerned, just in case Esau decided that he don't want nothing, make them dead first. He left his wife, he left his children, he left his cattle. He wanted to meet his God. He knelt down and in earnestness he prayed. And then as he was left alone that night, a man wrestled with him. Wrestled with him. And Jacob was wrestling with all the energy he had. It was night. And he thought Esau had found him. And as far as he was concerned, they were battling hand to hand. I hold his both hand, and if I hold his hand, he will not be able to get a weapon. And Jacob was wrestling with everything he had in him. But suddenly he felt a touch. Hello, somebody. He felt a touch, and his hip bone was knocked out of position. And he was holding on for dear life. Then as the day breaks and he recognized from the touch that this person was not an ordinary man. Because he knew he had both hands covered. He had the feet covered. But something touched him. I want you to know somebody can touch you tonight. A supernatural touch that gives you a reason to think. He says, what is your name? Jacob admitted, my name is Jacob. In other words, I am a thief. I am a liar. I am a deceiver. I am a fugitive. I am running away. The first thing a sinner needs to do is to admit that he is a sinner. Having admitted to Jesus that he is Jacob, God says to him, I'm going to give you a new Jacob the fugitive, but you shall be called Israel. What a name. No wonder God's people today call themselves Israelite. He named the place Peniel. He says, I have seen God face to face. Have you wrestled with God till the break of day? When last have you prayed till life break through? When last have you clung to Jesus? You recognize Jesus that night, and he made a commitment. He has met with God face to face.